On season 3 Survivor Africa, they drink.
Look at this Rolodex. Did you see her? You can see. I love it. Every time you can see Jackie, like the twitch.
Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast with Jackie and Johnny. I'm Jackie Agnew.
And I'm Jonny DiVito.
And I'm Ty Boissonneau.
You goddamn right.
And we have a very special episode.
Very special episode.
Is it a special episode? For what reason?
It is a special episode.
For what reason? You guys have pumped my tires and pulled the rug out before. What's the reason?
Well, the band we're doing is really, really
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. And
Yes, they
it's
are.
someone's special day today.
It's Jonny DiVito's birthday, ladies and gentlemen.
I made it, you guys. I made it. 32, feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32, not feeling blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything is
Oh,
good.
Well, then let's do this. Oh.
Oh.
Feeling blue.
I'm a natural autumn, actually. I thought that I look a little bit better with the red background, but I do think it's less inviting for the people.
Yeah, it's a little sinister.
Yeah, right, there we go. Back to cold tones, you know what I mean?
good.
Yeah, right?
Good.
You know?
That's
By the
what I
way,
said.
the only producer thing I've done this entire time.
Yeah, I like how we brought you on as our producer, but really it's just like our bud that's just
Y'all
like...
want green? No, all right. Get back to
I
blue. All
got
right.
it. No, allow me.
See, we hired the right guy for the job. We hired the right guy for the job, and I couldn't be happier. And thank you guys very much for acknowledging my birthday and coming
Happy
and hang
birthday,
out today.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. We're going to do some golfing. We're going to do some barbecue eating. But first, we're going to talk about Fanny. But maybe aliens?
Yeah, we have. Well, first of all, as per usual, hit the old subscribe. If you care about Johnny at all, want to give him a little birthday present, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, there you go.
Hit that like button, leave a comment.
You don't even have to get a card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
just
really
hit
don't.
the fucking
Just
subscribe.
Fucking hit
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we're almost at 100 subscribers.
That's dope.
Let's
yeah,
go.
That's dope.
Let's go. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All the stuff. You know what to do.
Yeah, whatever you got to do it. But once again, most importantly, if you ever want to come and see us do it live.
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
King's Head Pub every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Ty, what you got going on?
Comedy Ring, big announcements.
Yes.
We're doing the Amsterdam Cafe now, starting this Wednesday, and we're also going to be doing shows next Saturday as well, and we're going to be doing 2 shows on that Saturday. Super cool, downstairs, 420 friendly, going to be very, very, very fun shows. We're super stoked to be doing those shows there. And then I'll also be at House of Comedy June 9th through 11th, hosting for Noel Miller.
Out there for the
Nice.
whole
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
Beautiful.
And don't you guys do roast battles?
Oh, that's right. We also do that.
Babe,
Listen,
Yep.
I had
Yep.
I had a bit of a thing planned for it.
No, do it because like let's get my bullshit out of the way. 32 is just like not like a trip around the sun because you actually have something to celebrate. We should.
Well, one of them was
put your
one of them was
fucking-
hard, and the other one was like you were born. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Right? Accident. I didn't even fucking ask to be here, man.
One of us put some work into this.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that work should be acknowledged.
every-
So big thank you to my mom.
Every 2 weeks at Calabash Bistro at the Grand Calabash Bistro Arena in beautiful British Columbia, Canada, we are doing the Roast Battle Federation, and your champion, your reigning, defending champion, Jackie Agnew, just defeated her title last Thursday. It was unbelievable. It was such a great battle. Congratulations on still having your title and still
Thank you.
unbelievable.
Thank you.
So yeah, every 2 weeks at Calabash, you can go check it out. Get us on Eventbrite, do all that stuff. So yeah,
Hell yeah,
all the
click
new
the
shows in
links.
Amsterdam, all the ones at Calabash, and then Roast Battle as well.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad that I got to
Babe, it was
Flex
amazing.
a little
It was
bit.
amazing. Like we've talked about, like in the past few weeks or whatever, the amount of bullshit that you have to go through.
It's awful. It's
to do
so
it.
bad.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
it's-
fucking hate them, and I'm a sensitive boy. You know what happens to me after roast, but
obsess over
you
them for so long.
yeah, you inspired me to get back in the ring.
Yeah.
So next in a couple weeks here, Jordan Wilson and myself will be getting back in there.
Nice.
I'm
That's
very
gonna be
excited.
a great battle.
Very excited
Yeah.
about it. But you are a fucking beast, and you're mean,
Aw.
and
Aw.
and I do mean that in the nicest way. But
It's just that roast sucks so much, and so just is set for like right after you win, and like the next week or whatever before you start prepping for the next one. And so I'm just like basking in like the one time like the roast is fun, just like after you win.
Yeah. It's exactly like fighting though. It's just like, you know what I mean? You literally just get done doing this like heart rate to go through this whole fucking thing, and then like the press conference immediately I'm like, so who's next?
Yeah.
For
100%.
fuck's sakes, man.
Yeah.
I think about like
Have a
that could be.
barbecue for my boyfriend's birthday.
Yeah. Oh, I've already been thinking about who's next and give all the possibilities and try and be like, well, I should probably start writing now.
Yeah.
I think,
that's
but-
that's that champion
Well,
mentality.
it-
That's
well,
that
it
mother
is,
shit
it
right
is.
there.
We were laughing about like how like we're fucking crazy people, right? Because I think like you'll put together all the ideas, like setups and punchlines or whatever, and I come home and Jackie's got post-it notes across the entire coffee table, right? And like doing some serious fucking Rain Man
Charlie
shit
Day.
right now. Yeah, exactly.
Pepe Silva.
That was for I had one joke left to write.
But it's incredible to see it's incredible to
funny.
see like the stuff kind of pieced together, right? And she's so good, but like
She's
set
listening
in her
to Bach.
totally and set in her ways, because I'll throw a couple ideas at her and none of that is coming. You know what I mean? Not and all that stuff is like in one ear and out the other because she's working on something. You know what I mean? Which is pretty incredible to watch, and also the like because we'll be laying in bed and at like 1 a.m. you'll just hear like a giggle or whatever, and then one of us like pulls a phone out, and you can just guarantee that we just thought of something horrible to say about one of our friends.
There's nothing better than waking up and going, oh, that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the difference between me and Jackie is that you're really good at it, so it's really cool to watch. It's really cool to watch. Congratulations.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, no, in honor of your birthday, we thought we'd do a story off the top that would spike your interest
I'm very excited about
quite
it.
a bit. Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't entirely understand what's happening here, but so I guess
Babe, I can break it down a little bit for
Yeah,
you.
I think you know more. You break down the
Real quick. I like how you try to slip in that just because it's Johnny's birthday we're doing this. I know what's happened here, people. We do one fucking segment on Bigfoot, and then the next episode there's a bunch of aliens. I think that you think you're being so sneaky. And you're not. You're not at all.
We started off with some fun articles for the first few episodes, you know.
Yeah.
And then we enjoy a Men in Black kind of scenario, and more so than anything else, do we love is the whimsy and wonder of the universe that we live in, right? And I think that Bigfoot might have been like we didn't, we could have eased you into that a little bit more. You know what I mean?
We came
I-
in hot.
We came
No-
in with a bottle of red wine,
No
and just-
lubrication whatsoever.
not even spit.
Whatsoever.
And we acknowledge that. But I do want to get your opinion on extraterrestrial life and are we alone in this universe?
This is something I can kind of get behind. So let's
Okay,
go with
yeah.
this.
I
Yeah.
thought you would be more receptive. To
Yes,
it.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We don't want to chase you away because like we were gonna come in with Draculas and shit just in honor of Morbius. We were thinking
we
about.
can't get into the Loch Ness monster quite.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
But this is going to be the last paranormal one. Well, I mean, unless it goes great. So.
Well, unless a paranormal story happens to cross by my timeline,
Which they often do.
Which they often do.
Yes, but basically what we're dealing with here is a radio signal that was received
45 years ago.
Yes. So now 45 years ago, the thing about like radio signals bouncing back to Earth is they're kind of like scientists have to decipher where they're coming from, because it could be like radiation, there could be a lot of different kind of sources for these kind of signals that they're getting, where immediately everybody's brain wants it to be aliens, right? But a lot of times, unfortunately, there is a scientific explanation for a lot of these like wild phenomena that occur definitely is where space is concerned. Now has been repeating signals that have come back that scientists don't know about. There's a fascinating story about that. Definitely check out Google repeating radio signals from space, and you'll find this stuff. But this particular one is an older story, and has kind of been re-looked at by a few scientists, and kind of shined a little bit of new light onto it, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so as you said, no one for 45 years, it's always been a question as to where these signals originated from. And now scientists think that they may have a plausible answer as to which specific star or planet these particular signals came from, assuming that they were sent by aliens.
Now that is something that I can sink my teeth in.
Yeah, so they've actually pinpointed the location, which is super interesting. Yeah.
And like, first of all, like, that's the best thing. I love science so much because it opens this this part of your brain or whatever that does match the kind of like wild I want to believe, right? Like, I am Mulder's poster on his wall or whatever, right? I really do want to believe, so I can get caught up in a lot of this stuff very easily. So when I read a lot of stuff about science and all these articles and new findings and stuff, I'm fascinated by them, but I'm also plagued with the fact that I don't know anything about science.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So how the fuck do you take a radio signal from 45 years ago and pinpoint?
Also, like, what do we at? Like, the little that we do know about science, like, dude, it's your birthday today. I was thinking about this. I'm like, dude, if we were textbooks, we'd be outdated. Like, kids would be reading us going, Pluto's a planet. These fucking morons. Like, what are you talking about?
I wonder how much of the knowledge that we just that we just assume to be correct
that I consumed in grade 10 science that I failed, by the way. Yeah. Not relevant at all anymore.
No, but I can't stop reading these things, like and following along. The robot frogs are fascinating to me. Do you know about the robot frog embryos?
Again with the jumps. See what he does?
For the listener, Google robot frogs.
We've heard about.
And
by the way, the other story, the option that we had today was frogs fucking shoes.
Yeah.
I would have shoehorned that into this as well. I would have found a way to.
You're gonna shoehorn it in.
Yeah.
Shoe-toed it in, bro. Let's get in.
Hell yeah. But Ty, have you ever had any kind of a close encounter? Have you ever seen anything in the sky? Anything kind of weird?
I've definitely seen a bunch of shit in the sky that I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff like that.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I remember that was like one of my favorite things about going. Anytime we would go camping and stuff like that, because you're so far away from any like city light or any like light pollution. Yeah. And like stargazing is the shit. And like satellites, I love looking at. I've seen a ton of stuff that I'm like, I have no idea. Then I see pictures of the northern lights and I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of things look possible up there.
Dude, I've been up to the Northern Lights area multiple times, and a lot of people have been like, oh, today we're going to see them. And if you're hugging the Alaskan border, there's really not a whole lot of cool shit going on up there. Been burned 5 or 6 trips
I think
north.
that's pretty. And even lately, I don't know if this is something that's always happened or if it's maybe something to do with climate change or whatever, but lately we've been getting them in BC more.
Reaching a lot lower.
But still, I've never. And I think it's pretty hard. Like, they say like, oh, they might, when they do happen, it'll be like, this is the best place to go or whatever. But I think it's pretty rare to catch that.
I think the difference between the story that we're talking about here and I think like everybody's just general curiosity with what's going on in the sky is that I think you have a really healthy attitude towards it. Of course, it could be a satellite. It could be drones or whatever the fuck we're dealing with now.
Yeah, really now.
I think a lot of that stuff is there, right? But where do you guys think that the connection can be made that that those are grays or little green men or whatever that's actually in there compared to where scientists can actually kind of pinpoint a radio location, because either way the outcome is still the same. You know what I mean? This could be a product of intelligent life that we've never made contact with. Right. But there's a little bit more kind of evidence here, or like it's based a little bit more in fact or whatever, rather than the other one is just a little bit more hopeful.
I feel like it's super interesting, but maybe like the reason why, like, I had to search to find this article, like this hasn't been like a crazy headline on the news, is that like because in the last year or so, there has been so much more like documents released about the fact that the government
was
is
so
very
low key.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was just like, oh, by the way, aliens 100% real. And no one cared.
Like
Well, I think
all of the military and stuff, it's like such a common thing for their training and stuff to see crazy shit in the sky, and just like if you report it, they're like, oh yeah, that's a thing that happened.
Yeah.
They're
Now
like,
that
yeah,
we're
did it
talking
go
about-
off at a crazy right angle and disappear? We'll file that under UFO.
Yep, the Commander Shraver, the Tic Tac phenomenon. Like, I mean, some of these you can actually see spheres diving into the water and stuff from.
It's
from like
wild.
fighter
Like
jet-
we just
fighter
like it was
pilot.
just like, oh hey, we're like, I don't understand how we were waiting
I
for
think it was-
so long. How did that just like?
It came in a time, I think, when like the news was like so goddamn wild, right? When you have I think like Trump being an asshole, COVID kind of shutting everything down. I mean, a lot of civil unrest definitely
Do you
happening.
think it was a
and stuff,
choice?
You know what I mean?
Hey guys,
I
listen.
think-
I think it was
Great
kind
time
of a
leak
diversion
this alien.
A
because
little
like
bit.
there was
I
such a
honestly do,
demand for
yeah.
more transparency. People were so unhappy with the government, especially COVID definitely exacerbated that. I think they're like, well, we have all this UFO shit.
Let's
I
give
think
them a
that's going
little
to keep
something.
them
Which
at
is
bay.
so fucking America to be like, we're not going to
Yeah.
stop killing black people in the streets, but here's a little something for you crazies. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Which
sink
is-
your teeth into this.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? At a time when they're definitely looking to, you know what I mean, to change some things, you know, locally, they, I don't know, kind of gave us something a little bit more beyond globally.
Yeah.
But the lack of interest in it, you know what I mean, is fascinating to me. And another fascinating thing was they changed UFO to UAP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Which now, I think what it is that, I mean, obviously not acknowledging that that aliens per se, no contact has been documented or anything like that, but changing unidentified flying object to unidentified aerial phenomenon is fascinating, because then what you can do with the like with those kind of words is that you can like cover up anything a little bit easier, because it's aerial phenomenon, where like Project Blue Book would be in the 50s basically saying that any light in the sky was a weather balloon, or you know what I mean, this and that, right? Covering up Roswell crashes and shit, which is
Plus,
I mean,
phenomenon. It just sounds so LL Cool J.
Yeah.
And it-
something like a phenomenon. I don't know.
aliens fly by
Phenomenon.
something like a phenomenon.
If aliens get down and they just like the fucking door kind of opens up, you know what I mean, with the long ramp, you know what I mean, coming down kind of like that, and the first thing you see is an Adidas shell toe, like fuzzy Kangles and shit. I'm here for it.
It's funny because Adidas shell toe gets revealed and you're like, Run DMC. You're like, no, and then you see the fuzzy Kangol.
Oh, shut up! Shut up! Ladies love Cool James. John loves Cool James.
Man. You just start punching, being
knock
like,
you out.
Mama said, knock you out. I'm fucking fucking with aliens.
Could
Let's
you
go.
imagine? Yeah, if all unidentified aerial phenomenon is actually just LL Cool J on some like he has access to.
someone flicking old CDs?
If you're Frisbee and LL Cool J CDs, you're a
The
fucking
reflection
asshole.
of this thing was wild.
Hey, we're a music podcast. Did you guys know that LL Cool J beefed with an unknown rapper named Cannabis over like one line in a lyric, which is it's one of the silliest rap beefs ever, but it's one of my favorites because it's so like insecure and petty. There's a song called 4321 that was put out on, I can't remember what soundtrack, but it's Method Man and Redman, DMX, relatively unknown rapper at the time named Cannabis, and LL Cool J, and it's a fucking fantastic song. Definitely go and check it out. But you'll notice that LL's verse is a little bit more like harder than it should be, and you're like, well, that's kind of interesting. So basically what happened was Cannabis in his verse was referring to a tattoo on LL Cool J's arm where there's a microphone on it. Cannabis basically had said, like, you know what I mean, let me grab that for a second, you know what I mean, it's just like he's just spitting rhymes or whatever, right? LL heard that and took it as like a diss, and he was like, you don't touch this mic on my arm, motherfucker, you know, you want to idolize, and like all of this shit, which is kind of crazy because they made Cannabis do a different verse, which he did.
Wow.
Yeah, so then the Cannabis hears that like the diss or whatever on, like, you know, I mean, the biggest song of his career, you know what I mean? That's gonna like pop him off at this time with LL Cool J, Method Man, Redman, and DMX, right? Like this is where people are really gonna start to notice you. And all of a sudden LL's basically calling him a fucking asshole on the track that he's on, which inspired one of my favorite diss tracks called Second Round Knockout by Cannabis off of Can I Boss album. And it's awesome where he's like,
Love a diss track.
Dude, it's my favorite.
I love it.
Because he comes so fucking hard in the paint, and he was like basically, you go into the studio and lay your vocals after mine. That's a bitch move. It just like goes. So it's great. If you're into rap beefs, definitely check out that stuff. Yeah. Back to aliens.
LL Cool J just went full Michael Jordan on that, and I took that personally.
Exactly. 100%. I don't know, for somebody so big to be punching down like that, like at that point, LL Cool J was already not only like a hip hop legend, but like a cultural phenomenon, a cultural icon.
Phenomenon.
Something, you're right. Got me. So for him to go after like a relatively unknown rapper on a song that he's supposed to probably put him over on is it's the funniest shit.
Especially when you're from another planet, LL Cool J. Why you gotta do that? So weird.
That's something only an alien would do.
Yeah.
That's some behavior that we haven't seen on this planet.
Yeah, so the thing that I don't really get about this story, or not that I don't get, in my head, I'm like, what will come of this? Like, it's really cool that they've been able to pinpoint where these signals came from, but those signals were received 45 years ago and probably sent thousands of years before then, before we actually received it on Earth. So what are they? They're not going to send like a rover to this this far off star.
I think that's like the, depending on how you look at life, right? I think that like your lifespan is so short, and that can be like a sense of dread for some people, or it can be kind of like a motivating factor to get off your ass and really do something with the time that you have here, right? So in that kind of interest, it does kind of give you that you can look at it one of two ways, right? Because it's similar to like a lot of the stars in the sky. Some of them, if like some of those faintest stars that you see have maybe been those stars have exploded, thousands of years ago or whatever. It's just taken that long for that light to travel to see our eyes, which is fascinating. Now, like a radio signal, I'm assuming moves much slower than the speed of light. Yeah. And so if any intelligent species was able to make this kind of signal and send it off, the likelihood of them, still being alive, because the universe is a very harsh place. Maybe, you know what I mean? Anything from an extinction to an asteroid, or potentially, you know what I mean? I think on the smallest chances that they, thrived as people and maybe continued to advance, but it's potentially unlikely because this is one of those radio signals that is so frustrating because it was such a long burst and it's never repeated itself, right?
Yeah.
So it almost like a last ditch SOS or something like that, maybe, or whatever story you want to put into your head, or whatever kind of narrative you want to create around it. I think
that's like an old timey radio station.
What do you think? Like if you could decipher it and it's like broadcasted live on K-Rock.
Yeah, the Beach Boys.
Exactly, right. I mean, if you could decipher it and it's just like try the veal. Like, I mean, I think that would just be like
it's a commercial for Ovaltine.
Dude, 100%.
A crummy commercial.
Just Christmas stories.
Yeah, you just got Christmas stories.
Didn't at one point they sent out, like from our planet, sent out some sort of song into the...
There's a gold disc that's floating in a...
no, I thought but I thought that they also like sent out like an actual, like they... like sent out fucking a signal for some sort of really popular pop song at the time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Shit. I remember hearing something about this.
Yeah.
But I do remember I think it's in a satellite or some kind of
so it's like we're sending out random signals too, in hopes that, but then again it's like it's a really interesting thing to do and that science is capable of doing, but it seems like there's so much more stuff going on so much closer, like within the confines of Earth. Like that that seems like more ripe territory to
mine?
To put our to
Well,
mine.
maybe that's the best word.
I mean,
I feel like we haven't done enough to Mother Earth yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love when people
harvest her waves, her radio waves.
I love when people say that. Exactly. You just want to monetize that shit, right? I love when people say
yeah.
like we know more about space than we do the ocean, and I'm kind of like, I'm like, don't fucking start
Yeah,
looking because
and
you're
no.
gonna fuck that thing up. Like if
Yeah,
we, like, I'd much rather
exactly.
shoot rockets
They
into
have,
space.
like, a
It's
resource,
crazy how people
yeah.
can say that because I'm like, well, you don't know that. Like, obviously, but I'm like, but like, there is no joke. Like, we don't know dick about the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Wild out there.
Yeah.
it is outer space out there, but with
100%.
full on aliens
Well,
everywhere.
that's like
And
another
like dark
kind
pressure
of,
too. Like I mean,
yeah.
like
It's
depending on like
insane.
layers and shit. Like
It's
I don't.
insane.
And that's like another interesting kind of thing to get into with aliens is that the reports of seeing UAPs come out of the ocean or go into the ocean. So that could be a whole territory in itself that aliens are kind of operating out of.
Anybody that wants a link, we can put up a link to a fantastic series of YouTube videos that looks over potential underground bases on Google Earth. It's a stretch. Some of them are a stretch, but if you want to go down rabbit holes that I've been down, I'll put a link. The idea of the I think it's just the selfishness of human beings is that we think that we're worthy of the contact. It's a similar theory that I have with Bigfoot is that we're not important. We're not the thing here to contact, regardless of how self-important we are.
Yeah, we're probably a problem that they will have to deal with. They're like,
100%.
listen,
Yeah.
it's got all this stuff over there. They got a lot of things going over there, but there's these fucking things running
Well,
around.
There's a lot of cool shit down
Yeah.
there, but you got to watch because
Yeah.
there's some crazy motherfuckers trying to
that's
protect it.
Why, according to Johnny's preferred school of thought, the Bigfoot are working with the aliens, and they're kind of in cahoots together.
I want to believe that. That's the thing.
Of course, dude. Of course, we all want to believe it, Johnny. I wanted to believe I would make the NHL as a child. I wanted to believe I was going to be an astronaut.
And I'm here to tell you that dreams never die. You can still do all of those things.
You too could get a hole in one.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I am walking proof that you know what I mean. Anything can happen.
Johnny
at
Ace
any time.
DeVito.
Ace.
Hey, you can call me that, but I still lost 7 balls yesterday. So what are you gonna do?
But yeah, so if you two-parter. If you
I'm ready.
Picture an alien. First of all, what kind of form does that take? Obviously, there's the classic gray big head. There's the theory that aliens are already living amongst us, and then they could be, something as they could be like, parasites, shit like that.
Yeah.
And if if it came out that aliens did take like a human form and are hidden amongst us, what would you do if you found yourself face to face with a confirmed alien?
That was fucking fantastic questions. First, like what I would like to believe, I think the child in me, big like growing up on South Park, I think like the skinny, big head, gray alien. I think that interestingly enough, like given the as far as like a species would live to develop this kind of technology that they could get here, I think like communication might be more telekinetic and stuff like that, bigger head size for like
That
brains.
whole theory of like being like, oh, like your frame gets smaller, but your head gets bigger.
Yeah.
Like evolutionary. Or
Exactly.
I hear you. Yeah.
Right, so I would think like, and the whimsical, of me wants like I want the ship to be like a Spaceballs type ship where there's like a bunch of those guys and a couple Bigfoot walking around with clipboards and shit. You know what I mean? Like that's what.
There's a good connection actually because
Right?
John Candy's character is basically Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Right? He's a Mog, half man, half dog.
Checks out.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? The kids on
okay.
it's not all portrait.
Okay, guys.
We got him.
We got him. And sorry, just to interject on that note too, there is a story. What's his name? Bob. What's his name? The guy.
Moneymaker?
Lazar.
Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
He tells a story about some documentation within the government that says they had a body of an alien that kind of fit that description of the small body, big head. So there might be some evidence that suggests that, depending on how much you believe Bob
Well,
Lazar.
I mean, I want to believe Bob Lazar has been telling that story for over 30 years, and it hasn't really changed much. And I mean, his level of credibility as far as a scientist is kind of irrefutable. His history with the government is a little bit shaky, murky, definitely with a lot of documents either non-existent or he claims to have been destroyed. I think that a lot of that imagery, I think, comes out of like early Roswell. Like it kind of that really sparked the, I guess the Little Green Men movement much more than say like H.P. Lovecraft books and like science fiction kind of stuff like that. Like I think that was the first time that this might be like actually on the planet, which is fascinating. And in my heart of hearts, that's what I want to believe. But I do think that the universe is a wild place, and if the likelihood of them kind of being like humanoid creatures like that compared to like a likelihood we might be dealing with like an alien situation where there's no reasoning with a bloodthirsty beast, and like I don't even understand how Alien got so cool at like architecture and shit. There's a lot of like like H.R. Geiger, that's a movie, and that was a production design. But if that's the case, then I do think like that might be the thing. So if I was face to face with a confirmed alien, I would really fucking hope that it would be the first one and not the latter. And I would have many questions about, I think, like the universe rather than like I want to feel good in my own insignificance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to understand the universe and kind of get out of my own head, because I'm pretty like, selfish thinking person. We're all comedians, for fuck's sakes, right?
Yeah.
Like all we want is you to love us. But if I could like let a little bit of that go or whatever, I think I'd find a little bit of peace in my insignificance in the universe.
You're just running bits by him? Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
You're like,
Takes
What
out
do you
a
think of this?
notebook. All right, Dad, does this land for you? Yeah.
I got this fucking Uber bit that I just can't figure out.
Yeah. Fuck, there was something I was gonna say, but it slipped.
Why
my
don't you
mind.
throw the question to Ty? Where do you
okay,
go?
so for first parter is
what do you think that?
What
if to me, like the idea, like it makes in my bro science. I'm
Yeah.
like, big head. They're doing all this smart shit. They need a bigger head. Right? For sure. That's how that works. Yeah. They don't need all those muscles. Look at the big head.
What would be a situation where like because that's another problem with being human, is that we're selfish, and we think that life on other planets kind of has to resemble ours in a way, right?
'Cause that's
what
the
if
only
like
thing
the
we
brain
do.
had to be?
Perfect, John.
What if it was like a Krang kind
Yeah.
of situation with the Krang and with the brain in the stomach? or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
I'm
that?
all about that.
Or have you seen what's the one, Arrival, where they're like cephalopods that come down?
Yeah.
The one with
See, I can
Amy
try and-
Adams.
yeah.
A
or
lot of
whatever.
people buy that
Yeah.
that whole game too.
Yeah, and that is much more frightening.
Oh, my
yeah,
God,
yeah, and
Yeah.
they've the whole like color changing shit and all this. You're like, okay, there's like that's what I mean. The ocean's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
wild.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm like, it's probably something like, I feel like it's something I couldn't even possibly wrap my head around.
Yeah.
There's nothing you couldn't actually explain it. Like it's so beyond anything that humans could possibly comprehend.
Totally.
So just
It'd be like a
don't-
scanner's moment. Do you think your brain would explode like just trying to comprehend? this
Oh
kind of
yeah,
knowledge?
yeah. I would give up before it exploded. I feel
You're just gonna walk away?
we don't have to.
I
Yeah, we
have
don't
to
have to. We don't
understand
have to
this.
dedicate.
Oh, I'm looking into
My
the sun.
brain.
I will like if I will
Yeah.
give up my last moment for understanding. I'll be like, I get it.
Dude, go have a sandwich. What are you doing? Just thinking so hard about it. Take a break. What are you
I do like smash burgers.
yeah. So yeah, I feel like it'd be like some kind. I don't know. Just like in like some waveform, some kind of like just or bullshit thing or whatever like that.
Yeah.
I just could not possibly wrap my. That's what I feel it probably is.
Totally.
Right. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. I think that's definitely the most likely scenario where they kind of take a form that we can't even recognize, and we want to picture it as some
If there's
sort
like
of
whistles dogs can hear and shit that I'm like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think it'd be that hard to like pull one over us.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we seem to be pretty fucking
It's not that
stupid.
hard to
We're pretty
outsmart.
dumb.
Yeah.
I love how content you are with just. I get it. I totally get that. I think that's the difference between the way that we look at the world is in a very similar way. But I'm longing for understanding, and you're just like, fuck it, man.
I love how content you are in your ignorance.
It makes me feel good about myself because I'm like, no one is as smart to understand this stuff, so why would I even bother?
There's no point even trying.
That's pretty cool, man.
You know what that is, Johnny? That's 3 more years. That's 35 compared to 32.
Fair
Right?
I have my fucking exercises in futility still, just like staring at the sun, trying to understand. You know what I mean? Why we're here, and then why I can't see when I blink my eyes when I look away from it.
But yeah, the universe is full of whimsy.
Hell yeah.
And
hell yeah, that was
and
fucking
wonder.
that was cool. That was a cool story.
Yeah, if you think
Yeah, it's
there was
wild. It's
like
cool that they're revisiting it.
Yeah. Right?
Intergalactic Council. So say like all of these aliens, Bigfoot, Nessie, Ogopogo, all of these kind of otherworldly beings.
In a Justice League situation?
Yeah, exactly. If they all are working together, they have like a council in space that they all meet at, once a year, once every 5 years or whatever.
It's a good party.
It's a fucking sick
catering.
party. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They have a bowl full of keys when you walk
totally.
in.
Try the veal, the Schvuyadel.
Come on, Dracula, you're not driving that coffin tonight. Come on, I've only had 3 bites. You know Dracula be having those mega pints, dude. Dracula been drinking. Dracula has mega pints with Johnny Depp.
100%. That's
Like, I want to suck your cock.
Yeah. I want to shit your bed.
But who has the gavel? Who's running things? Who's the head honcho?
I want to say, I got to throw it to Ty here. I got to think about that. I mean, out of all, like, who, because everybody would want, you know what I mean, the power struggle, right? Would obviously, but like that's the first season of the show, right? And I think at the end of the season, who like rises to the top? I'm gonna have to say Killer Mike from Run the Jewels.
That's a good answer.
I mean,
that's a good answer.
Show me Killer Mike. That's what I'd like to be, because you just call Dracula a bitch. Sit the fuck down. I'm gonna go Killer Mike.
Hey, I don't want any trouble. Okay.
Try like you got voices just up the sleeve. We didn't know you could do Dracula.
It's just my grandfather, to be honest.
Grandfather's just gone from like a racist Polish guy to like a Transylvanian.
Right.
You know, he's raised Hungarian, and
okay.
the guy, the original Dracula, is Hungarian.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Cool.
I
didn't even know the origins of Dracula.
No, I didn't either. Was it Bram Stoker? Wait, where did vampires come into lore? I mean, other than just like from actual real life and sucking people's blood, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, they started. It's not lore. It's.
Well, when it becomes Twilight and stuff like that, I think there's definitely
sure.
schools of thoughts and whether or not they can like be in sun and shit.
The earliest. Obviously Bram Stoker would be probably the first where it's a novelization and one
but
character.
then how long were those stories before
exactly.
that?
That's
hard to
obviously
pinpoint.
drawing on factual information that was passed down through the centuries.
Well, they say like things about like Vlad the Impaler and like there's some real cruel characters like in history that you know what I mean, like and even like Aztec culture and stuff like that. Like blood has always been like a huge part.
Yeah, dude, you got Megan Fox fucking drinking blood now.
What's up with that? Celebrities drinking blood.
They're just drinking blood.
That's
drinking
pretty
each other's
cool.
blood.
On
Only for ritual's sake, they said. So that's fine.
On season 3 Survivor Africa, they drink.
Look at this Rolodex. Did you see her? You can see. I love it. Every time you can see Jackie, like the Twitch. season 3.
It's taking over life.
Here we go. Rain Man it up. What do we got?
What do we got?
They drink. So it's so funny in the earlier seasons of Survivor because that was like Fear Factor era.
Yeah.
And so a lot of they always have a challenge where they have to eat something gross or whatever, which is just something that is totally faded out of our television culture. People don't want to see that shit anymore. But it's funny going back because it was just a staple of Survivor in like the early days. And so anyway, season 3 in Africa, they drink cow's blood. And first of all, they drain the blood from the living cow on television in front of people. I didn't watch.
Dude, it was
as
fucking
a cow lover.
wild, man. 2001 television
Wait,
was off the fucking hook.
Did they kill the cow?
No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
the
sorry.
cow is
Okay.
still alive.
Basically
Jeff
what
has
they
a
do-
whole spiel. He's like, I want you to know this is gonna be fucked up to look at,
Yeah.
but they do this all the time. The cow's totally fine.
Basically, what they do is they have like a little harpoon thing, and they kind of just like prick it right in the neck or whatever. Like
I think they're taking blood from the cow for like, tests or
100%.
whatever.
Yes, yeah, and it.
They
then
give
they
him a
just
little
kind of
lollipop
plug
at the
hole.
end.
Exactly.
But,
He's a cookie cow.
And
He
they
did really
fucking-
well.
But they
So
don't just
they-
take a shot of it, man. They're fucking.
They drink like
a
huge
substantial amount.
glasses.
Yeah.
And anyways, the
Ooh.
reason for that is that in like Africa, I guess in early tribal days, I'm walking on eggshells here.
Careful.
You see me lean back, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see this tightrope act.
Countdown to cancel.
According to the information that Survivor imparted, this was one of the things that tribes would consume as a source of protein was cow's blood. So maybe has something to do with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of we watch a lot of the Cooking Network as well, and I think before like culinary advancements were made, blood was a huge part of cuisine in a lot of ways. Like blood sausage is still popular.
Oh, yeah,
They were
fuck
using it in as binders and stuff like that. You know what I mean, to make like breads and shit.
When you're like, cooking like steak shit like that, it's like you end up like making you make gravy out of that stuff.
100%.
Like,
It's the best pan,
delicious.
drippings or whatever. It's some of the best stuff that you can cook with. But drinking, you know what I mean, like liters, or even
But a
making,
pint of
like
blood.
a
A mega pint
imagine,
of blood.
imagine draining an animal and making a soup. You know what I mean? Like it's wild, but that's
though
not
people
as
drink
uncommon
a lot
as
of
we
crazy
think.
shit. There was like this woman who like said her skincare routine involved drinking a cup of her boyfriend's cum.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
it's,
about
it's
training an
great
animal.
for your skin, babe.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I am telling you.
yeah, just fill up a cup.
You know I'm not a shooter. That's like that would take a long time.
The man is 32 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've been doing drugs since I was like fucking 14. There's not a lot in the tank. If that thing can stay hard, then fucking we're lucky if it comes out at all.
So we'll shoot it back. Poor choice of words.
Or a
We'll
great
shoot it back
choice
to
of words.
Ty.
Yeah,
We'll
what are you
shoot it
talking?
back
We're gonna
to
snowball
Ty.
this one back to you, Ty.
For who you think would be the leader in the Intergalactic Council.
Intergalactic. It's tough because I don't know where to draw the line here as far as characters are concerned.
Don't draw a line.
There's no lines here, Ty.
This is a great learning opportunity. There are
Color
no
outside the
lines.
lines with us.
To me, it's like if I'm going to then I have to include
Yep.
God
Yep.
kind of
Sure,
figure,
sure, sure.
especially like Greek
Ah,
dudes.
that's
Italian Jesus?
Come on.
Greek, no, like I mean, like I feel like Zeus has got to be
Oh,
in there.
yeah,
See, that's what I
definitely.
mean. I feel like
Sure.
I feel like
Yeah.
he's
Over
all-
Odin and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that? Because there's Norse mythology too, right? Are these guys just butt naked bear
Well,
wrestling?
Poseidon?
Yeah, they didn't teach us that one at school, so
Oh,
no.
fair enough. Oh,
Poseidon?
Okay.
Poseidon's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool, but like he
Yeah.
just controls the sea though. What a bitch! Like what about talking like?
But the sea.
Yeah.
It's it holds a lot of mysteries. Poseidon has
The
a lot more
trident
power.
that throws you
It's
off,
true.
isn't it?
Well,
You don't have
it's
a lot of
little
faith
bit
in
of
the
that,
trident.
but like I mean, I like Poseidon. You know what I mean? Is it like where does his jurisdiction start and Aquaman's ends? Like it's hard for me to really to say definitively that one is like the leader of the ocean, right? So like you know that's just.
I would say that
that's me.
Poseidon.
Oh, but
Same thing with like
having-
Zeus and Thor.
You
are fucking
think
around with God of
Aquaman
Thunder.
rules the ocean compared to Poseidon?
I think here's my
what? Is
theory
that
is
not a
that
thing?
Poseidon
It works for him.
Exactly. Poseidon is the elder. He is definitely in chief control, but Aquaman is like his water boy. His
Yeah, he's the pool
You're
boy.
gonna say Aquaman is Bobby Boucher?
he carries out the task that Poseidon
You're making
Yeah.
Aquaman
Throws
out to be some
upon him.
fucking errand boy? Sure, maybe.
Con-
Because
compared
Aquaman
to
is
Poseidon.
a bitch.
Common
He's
misconception.
the worst of them.
What if what if you need to? I don't. Yeah, I can't really defend Aquaman. You're right. I don't even care.
I
to
just feel like
try.
a giant squid is fucking Aquaman up.
Oh, well, yeah, but what if you think, what if Aquaman's fucking a giant squid? Have you ever seen those fuck toys that are like an egg or whatever that you kind of like masturbate with? It looks like a squid shoot.
No, but you knew my birthday was like a week ago. So what the fuck? You know I like octopus, and you know I love masturbating.
We could have been doing this months.
Yeah. Man,
Oh my goodness.
keep becoming better friends. That's great. I'm gonna need to borrow that when you're done.
Really, the show's about love.
Yeah, that's an interesting point though. Zeus may be leader of the pack now that he's brought into the equation.
I mean, I don't know. He's got Thunderbolt. I feel like that's
exactly.
a big thing.
Yeah,
Like he does and
he
shit,
can
but
fuck you up.
I don't know. Like Superman is at the table. There's a lot
Nah,
of people.
Zeus
no?
fucks up Superman for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm like agree
a lot of people that
to
could
disagree.
yeah.
Because like but I think at the end, like if all of these, creatures are like far and beyond, but it depends on where like
Who's at the kitty table? That's who I want.
Yeah.
There's like Batman for sure.
Don't
Right?
you fucking talk about the bat like that. I was trying to go Batman to the gavel, but I knew it was gonna be too hard. I was gonna.
You're England.
Batman's for sure he's head of the kitty table, but he's at the kitty table. It's not that he doesn't do great things down here. He does amazing things down here, but like on a galactic level. What
Yeah, he
Superman and
doesn't have a lot
Hades
to
are just like
say.
throwing
Yeah.
spitballs at the side of Batman's cowl and stuff.
Yeah, no one's
Guys,
asking.
Spider-Man's webbing me again. Because he's all emo now from that new Batman movie.
Oh yeah, Batman's kinda gay.
Dude, yeah. Why are they ruining Nirvana?
I don't know.
It was dope.
Kinda
It was
kick-ass.
I loved it.
It was
I
kind of
really did
kick-ass
love
when
it.
that
It was-
song kicked in.
No, of course.
Yeah,
I was.
yeah,
I'm not gonna hate.
yeah.
It was.
No,
It was.
yeah. I just you don't miss the opportunity to make a fun remix of a song. But I mean, we could talk about the bad all day. But I'm a huge fan. So it's like it's bad when that movie comes out. If anything is even like remotely good, I don't really compare it to like Christopher Nolan or anything like that. I just kind of like hold it for what it is, and I fucking loved it very much. So I just try to
I
stay away
enjoyed
from
it.
negative.
It was good.
Reviews.
It was
Yeah.
very long, but it was good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
what we
Jackie
were-
got to watch it with me, so like the Stoke level was she.
Yeah, but usually
So I was
I've
pretty
been
pumped.
I've had to watch other superhero movies, and I'm not really into them at all. Marvel movies, I just can't.
Yeah, I'm not
I
into-
can't
yeah.
pay attention. But this one, I was hooked the whole time, even though it was 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Like I was super into it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to show her Batman cartoons and stuff like that. There's long
The one
versions.
from like the '90s or whatever that we watched.
They're
is
fantastic.
Yeah, no,
awesome.
I'm fine
Yes.
with that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
just the Avengers, I just can't. There's just so I just don't care.
They kick so much
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. But I mean,
Listen, if
if
you're not naked on a beach drinking cow's blood, I don't want to see it. Right?
Yeah, come on.
Give me some real shit.
I watched the Avengers.
But
movie
where's
because
Jonathan?
Fuck you! Don't even get me started. I'm actually cool with Jonathan now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jonathan's he's had quite an arc. I don't think he's gonna take it home. But props to this fucking retard for making it to the fucking finale.
This is the newest.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's so dumb.
That's fucking-
He's so dumb. Like you can't help but be like, oh, you're so like so precious and innocent because he's just like this Southern boy, and he's like,
Yeah.
Mr. Jeff. Yeah, you see, Mr. Jeff.
He dodged this like
Mr.
there was a potential racist moment where
Yeah.
that he managed to crawl out of, but you're watching it and you're going, when you see somebody fucking up, you're just like, keep your fucking mouth shut, man.
Because
What
up
are
to
you
that
doing?
point, he was like the hero because he dominated all of the physical challenges so hard. Like Jeff was like in love with him
Yeah.
every like challenge. He's like, Jonathan's in the
Those
lead.
calves are
yeah,
totally-
yeah,
really
yeah.
But then there was some racial tension on the show, and some of the black players were
Yeah.
very vocal about it. And
Oh,
Jonathan is just sitting there being
no.
like, "Well, how does that make me a racist?"
Yeah, he's
and you're
like,
just
I
like,
don't
"Don't
appreciate
right
you
now.
calling me a
Shut the fuck up."
racist. Yeah,
Your
yeah.
accent.
Yeah,
It was so
everything
bad.
about
And
the
like-
fact that you're even disputing this.
Yeah, and it was because it was such like an interesting moment, and one of the black women, Drea, who was very well spoken this tribal council, and she and her and Marianne, the other black woman, they did like a really like interesting and impressive move. And it was super interesting. And Jonathan just couldn't understand that they were like kind of trying to explain like a racial moment there. And he's like, well, I just don't appreciate you calling us racist. And then Drea's like, you have to understand, it's like harmful for you to like sit there and saying I'm being aggressive, just trying to explain how I feel. It's like, well, you are being aggressive.
Dude, the whole time
So
you're just like,
bad.
shut up. So
It
what
was
are you doing?
so bad.
And then you're like, oh, fuck this guy. Like he's an idiot. Like he's just dug his own hole. But then you kind
Jeff
of realize
doesn't know what to do.
that I think there's
Yeah.
just like a little bit of like of ignorance from this guy, but you just be like a dumb Southern kid. So like, okay, you know what I mean? Now it's at the point that if he does win, that'd be what a feat.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, for the Sense of a Music podcast, we're 49 minutes in, and I think that we might have to do this album next week to actually talk about it.
No, we can.
Are we gonna get into
Let's get into it. Let's get it. We're gonna talk about the fucking album. Come on.
I kind of like fucking around. We're almost at the hour
well,
mark.
We're gonna,
You want to go
we're gonna
long?
get into it. We're gonna get into it. Let's go.
We got a tea time, baby.
Well, we can't just be sitting on our fannies all day long,
Oh,
friends.
very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I brought in Fanny Hill by Fanny. It's the third album that it came out with, 1972. I just found out about this band, and I feel like an asshole. It's like all-female group from the 70s, unbelievable players. It's insane how good they are. I think how I discovered them, this is like, it's shitty. I feel like I'm 35. I went to a music school. I've been surrounded by, especially classic rock, all that shit, like completely. And
especially this genre, it's weird for this to be kind of like the best kept secret. Or
Even like my dad is such a classic rock guy, and now it's music I grew up listening to, and I had no idea until like you found them and then showed them to us. I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, so I think I was when I was watching Get Back, that Beatles documentary, and then so I was just like, you revisit a bunch of Beatles songs, and you're doing all this stuff, and then this cover of Hey Bulldog came on, and it's Fanny doing Hey Bulldog, and it's like I love Hey Bulldog. Hey Bulldog's like on the Yellow Submarine album, and it's just like, but it's part of the soundtrack, the movie, so it's not really on an album, but it is like, it is fucking such a good song. It's like one of my favorite Beatles tracks. It's so dope. And so they do a cover of it, and it's just like, oh my god, it's insane. It's this album is really cool. I picked this one because of all kind of the Beatles stuff involved with it. Like I said, like it's how I kind of got into them. This album was actually recorded at Apple Studios in the UK. The Beatles released the rights for Bulldog for them to do it. Like the Beatles were fans.
Wow. Oh, very cool.
So yeah, unbelievable. I loved it. Did you guys take it? Did you take a nice little listen? Did you enjoy it?
Absolutely,
so
of course.
good. Yeah, just anyone who's a music fan, especially if you're a rock fan, this is it's so good. And like we were talking about before the podcast, listen to the albums, but look at their live stuff on YouTube. It is so much better.
Really, the only critique that we have is just like the albums just don't do them
100%. But I think
Yeah.
was that like a sign of the times in like 68 or whatever, that kind of like that sound of rock, they were going to be like the Lady Beatles or something, right? Was that kind of like sonically like the tone that you're kind of going for, with like more like I want to hold your hand kind of, you know what I mean, like a lighter vibe to it?
Because more like Lady, like Zeppelin.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
They rock hard.
hit harder, like definitely rock harder than
She
the
hits the
But not
shit
even
out of
like-
those
yeah,
drums in
'cause
the
like-
in the live like footage. You know what I mean? That fucking song.
It's not even like that. It's like a combo of those. It's like such an injustice to be. Oh, they're like Chick Zeppelin, or like they're just like whatever. Like it's just like it. They're it's like June and Jean. What was his last name? Millington. They're like they're like these Filipino sisters that moved to the States. They play like ukulele and shit, and then they both just learn how to play guitar and bass. And like Jean is an unbelievable bass player. The bass is like it's like John Paul Jones style shit, like kind of stuff. And then like her guitar playing, Jean is it's insane. There's like slide shit, like there's Clapton-esque stuff in there. There's Jimmy Page-esque stuff. It's all wild. And then you have like this chick named Nikki Barclay, who's the piano player, who's like straight Bowie shit, like just wild songs about werewolves and shit. It's great.
Absolutely.
And then Alistair Burr, who is from this like little town. She's like this. She's been drumming since she was like in grade 2 or something like that. She comes from a small town that the guy who wrote the Music Man
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a musical. Of
Yeah.
course, the guy wearing this shirt knows about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say I'm the only one not wearing pink today, but what are you gonna do?
I missed the memo.
yeah. Pretty sick shirt you got there, though, my dude.
Thanks, baby.
Not a sponsor. So you get this cool like collaboration of these people that are like they all kind of have these different backgrounds and they fucking slay at their instruments. They're so good.
So
all right,
good,
and I think that's like the what you were saying with like you can't really just call them like the chick Zeppelin or whatever, right? And I think that's where probably might be the detriment of this band or like any female musicians ever is that like you're always kind of compared to like your male counterparts, right?
Yeah.
What is the documentary that we watched is on Crave. Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
It
Right
seems
to
like
Rock,
they're
I think is the name of it. Yeah.
I think that with women getting looked over, especially in like the rock and roll space, it's kind of baffling to me because is America not ready for, a group of women to be fucking, making good rock and roll songs when they say that, like they use that kind of excuse, like maybe America wasn't ready for it when, you have like in Motown and like pop music and stuff like that. Like
You
going all
don't
the way
have people
back.
playing though.
You don't have
That's,
people playing.
That's a
right?
big part
Is that
of
the
it.
way
It's like you've got
Yeah.
Billie Holiday up
Yeah.
there being like, like, and it's amazing and it's
Yeah.
fucking, and there's big moms there. There's people who've
Totally.
played,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not
But you need
to
like
that
the fucking,
capacity.
you need like the
Yeah,
Supremes or
like a
something like
full-
that. They can do it, but you can't.
Yeah,
they
and
can't
that's
over
still
here,
within
right?
a really like a black world
Totally.
where it's
Yeah.
like
Totally.
maybe a little bit different, where
Yep.
it's like to penetrate that huge commercial success of the white world at the time.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was unheard of, and
Yeah.
it's like, and they're
Yeah.
Filipino, and they're like dark
Yeah. For
sure,
Filipinos,
yeah.
and it's like they're so the amount of like
It's so
being
weird that
the
those
chick
are the
thing,
strikes
the
against
chick
you.
thing,
Right? Yeah.
it was like racist thing. I mean, that's
Yeah,
why Gina
totally.
left the band. She's like, she couldn't handle all of the racist shit. She was
Fuck
just like,
yeah.
I can't fucking deal with this anymore.
It's crazy to me, like it. Not so much that they weren't able to get the success they deserved at the time, because that makes a lot of sense given the world that they lived in. But it is crazy that there hasn't been really a rediscovery of them, because I think now like people would be so receptive to this kind of music, like, and with like Spotify and YouTube and all the shit we have, like obviously it's there and a lot of people do like listen to them and watch the videos and are aware of it, but I'm surprised that they haven't like kind of had like a moment where people like go back and are like, have you like heard this band before?
Yeah,
type thing,
like
know?
the
Especially with like all of like the Me Too movement and shit like that, like I'm surprised that wasn't something that kind of got like dug up and like kind of shined a spotlight on. Like, did you know that this fucking band existed at the same time
In 1970,
Right?
you know that they had
Exactly.
5 albums,
Yeah.
which is 4
Yeah,
years,
right.
like
Yeah.
slapper ass albums.
100%.
And the range from each album is insane too. It's just like super classic kind of rock shit. And then like towards the later ones, it's straight like Bowie spaceship with like
Yeah.
concept album kind of ideas before even people are doing that shit. It's fucking wild, man.
For that amount of fucking output, that amount, like that body of work to be completely looked over is so fucked up, because like there's been a bunch of like really famous resurgences in the past like decade of people, you know what I mean, rediscovering music, with Sugar Man probably being the most popular like documentary or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Searching for Sugar Man and all that stuff. That music has been like kind of just adapted into or like adopted into like classic rock or whatever, just kind of grandfathered in. Like you'll hear that shit on the radio or whatever. In the punk rock community, there's a band called Death. There's a fantastic documentary called Death for All the World to See. That is also the name of their album. And these guys were just dudes in Detroit, a group of brothers that were brothers and brothers. They were a group of black dudes that were playing rock and roll. They're playing fucking rock and roll. They're playing fast rock and roll, like kind of inspired by the Ramones and MC5, and they were like one of the first punk bands, you know what I mean, that didn't get the credit that they deserved until
Yeah, I
that
remember
documentary
you showing me that.
came out much later. Politicians in My Eyes and Freaking Out, you know what I mean? That fucking album is amazing, and some of those songs I would consider groundbreaking. If you know what I mean, if you do like the chronological history, then yes, it's groundbreaking for that time, but it didn't get the chance to make the impact on the scene that it could have, because it was just kind of like, thrown under the rug, or these guys are in Detroit trying to sell this record to Motown, which they're like, not a fucking chance, or we're going to put out a record called Death for All the World to See, right? So there's all these there's like it's understanding why that they never got the pop that they did, or with the Sugar Man thing with him just kind of being elusive and recording these, you know, songs or whatever. And when they found him, he was working on a fucking construction site, had no idea he was massive in South America, right? So like there's a reason for like those two examples for them to not get the pop that they deserved. And to get the recognition now, there's no fucking reason that this band, you know what I mean, shouldn't have.
Crazy. They're so respected within the musicians too. Like every musician knew this. Like you know the fucking deal.
David Bowie quote at the beginning of the documentary. I forget what it was exactly. Basically, being like they're the most important band that no one's ever heard of. Something along that line.
Yeah, the most important rock band in America or whatever it is.
June Million's guitar playing alone is just like it's wild. Like it's just so many different things, and I feel like this album is a great way to get into them because like you get the classic rock stuff, you get a little hint of what's coming as well, and I think out of all those albums, it does the most justice to their live playing.
Totally.
But it still doesn't come close to doing it, unfortunately. But
I think though, if you listen to or watch the live videos and then go back and listen to the album, it heightens it too.
For sure.
Because you can kind of, you know, take
and then you can see what they're trying to do in the studio too. And it's like they did a whole bunch of cool stuff, like trying stuff, right?
It was an interesting kind of like discovery or whatever last night. I stayed up a little bit late after you went to bed and listening to this stuff and watching it on YouTube. I was absolutely loving it, but you know this show's about a record, right? So I'm going to go and listen to the album, and you know there was that, you know, there's it definitely hits a little bit lighter, but there's fucking like I wrote them down in my notes here. There's 4 undeniable moments on this album, even for me. You know what I mean?
It's 11 tracks with 2 covers. I love that there's covers on it because like I feel like that's such an old school fucking thing. So they do Hey Bulldog, and then also Ain't That Peculiar is a Marvin Gaye song that written by Smokey Robinson.
Damn.
And that song,
we were listening to
the
one of the
slide guitar in that is
so dope.
It's so good. And the live version of it too is just
so good. Yeah, that's definitely definitely one of the standout songs on the
it's a single off the album, I believe. That's what they put out. And the album did okay. It was like, you know, it like broke the 200s. But not nearly what it should have done.
It seems like at the time, like it's up to the record labels to really push this stuff and promote it. Right, it costs money to get that shit on the
you don't have
it's almost like they fucking dropped the ball. You know, whatever producer that signed them and was maybe like resenting them for not doing the sales is also the same guy that wouldn't put the money behind them to push them as hard as they needed to be pushed.
Yeah, right? I think at that time, if you're like, if the record label isn't behind you and like pushing you really hard, then you're fucked. Today, obviously, people can upload their shit to SoundCloud, put it on Spotify themselves, all of that shit.
Totally.
Whereas, like you so heavily relied on the label and on everyone else around you for your success. It is interesting though, like watching the documentary, they had like a fucking like house in the hills.
Yeah, right.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, it's weird because we are kind of saying like what the fuck happened and this whole thing, but like it was almost like it was there. It just didn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right? Like they almost had like all the opportunity or whatever. It was almost like they were just waiting for something to pop. But like why? You know what I mean? Like the early Woodstock stuff, or you know what I mean? Like if they were featured on that live record, you know what I mean? Compared to some other bands who I think there's a fucking band on the Woodstock live record that's like their 4th time playing or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning, like, we're scared shitless.
Yo, real quick, is there anything sadder than the Jimi Hendrix footage at Woodstock? There's just like nobody there. There's just trash everywhere.
Right?
Just one tear coming from Jimmy's eye.
I wonder if part of it too is that like because in the documentary they talk a lot about how like at the mansion it was just all like lesbians, you know. It was a lot of girl on girl action. I wonder if part of it is because of the industry in those days, like they weren't like sucking anyone's dick, you know, so they weren't
sexist, homophobic, right?
So they weren't gonna give them a leg up if they weren't gonna give them
a leg up.
Plus you're a
exactly. Yeah. Which is fucked
yeah, such
up.
like a madman fucking
yeah,
like generation.
which is so fucked up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you see it, and then they get buried because of it,
Which is like I think it's a detriment to like for whatever reason is to be like an all-female group because like women in rock and roll like Fanny walked so that Stevie Nicks could fucking run or whatever, you know what I mean?
And the
it goes on.
Go-Go's and the Runaways
Yeah.
and fucking everybody.
for all-female groups or whatever,
Yeah.
like L7, you know what I mean? There's a handful of them, you know what I mean, that were there like compared to like female vocalists or female members of groups or whatever, especially in punk rock, like going all the way back to like Susie and the Banshees or whatever, Blondie for some stuff, but like even in like this era now, like the Distillers with Brody Armstrong or Brody Dell now, and like Hole, you know what I mean? Like there's been like phenomenal women in rock and roll, but I think this like the all female group for whatever reason just like hasn't popped. And if anybody's listened that is into punk rock, definitely check out like the Lunatics and the Bomb Pops, fantastic all female groups. But I think they're kind of struggling with similar things, right?
Yeah.
Now, big shout out to Punk Rock Bowling for putting on a lot of like you can kind of see the seed turning for in a better direction.
Yeah.
With
Well, it's
definitely a lot more
definitely-
females kind of
But
stuff.
there is
coming
still
out
that thing
there,
off the
but-
top, which sucks. It's such a shitty thing. It's like, why can't you just go to you can't just go to a show and you see an all-female group up there. You're going to go, it's all girl
saying
band.
it's a all girl band, right? It's just saying
Yeah.
it's a band. It's rock and roll, it's music,
Yeah.
right? Without
Yeah.
saying
You know what? And
they're
this is the
always going to
same-
have that distinction.
This is the same ignorance of like, I remember when the White Stripes came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was real suspect.
No
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Real
No
suspect. Because
Yeah.
Jack White wasn't like fucking Jack White.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
And like,
yeah.
and I was like, what's this?
And as
it was
like a
at
young
the time,
musician, and you're like,
it was-
bow down, 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 bow,
it was-
bow,
it-
bow, down, 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 bow.
It was at the time where it was like, oh, they like this band just got like, you know, we were doing like okay, and then that,
Yeah.
and like with other bands, and then
Yeah.
like someone would get a girl drummer, and then
Right.
Oh.
then they'd get a whole bunch of like, they got like, that's good, they got a girl drummer in there.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
just put
yeah.
it in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, so they'd get a ton of more shows and all this stuff, and it
No
was like,
shit.
yeah, it was fucking weird. So I was just
Interesting.
like, like what's the deal? Is this like just some gimmicky kind of band? Like they can obviously play.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
And
Is that
then,
one
like-
female will ride you to the top, but if it's an all-girl group, then you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is
Well, and
that?
I
It's
think
such a
now
fucked
too
up thing.
because it's like I mean, not so much now, but like it was a novelty for a time to have like the one female or the female, front girl or whatever, and all of that. Then you can kind of skyrocket to the top, and like now. Obviously things are way different now. But I think, back in like the 60s and 70s, like pretty much the only like power that women had were their sexuality. And so when you're like, Fanny, and you're not down to clown with the fellas,
Yeah.
then you lose any kind of like, which is fucked up, which is not the way, obviously.
Well, yeah, exactly.
like-
But no,
but
if we're just
you-
talking
they-
history and the way of the world, like that's
Yeah.
it's really fucked up. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the situation
Yeah.
that they're in. That's so fucking crazy.
yeah, it's a shame because they're super attractive.
Yeah, no, right, dude.
As a musician, I was just like, oh my god, look how good
I mean,
they are.
anybody
They're
that's not
instruments.
interested in rock and roll that just likes titty, check out the Fanny doc. You'll see some titty in there, and nice ones too.
What an unreal band, and I can't believe that I've slept on it for this long. Not even slept on it. It wasn't like I was aware of it.
Yeah,
I was just,
yeah, just
literally
completely
had never heard of it,
fucking
and it was
over
like, and I
there,
feel
not on the
like
radar,
such. It's. Like I said, I feel very like stupid about it, but I'm also like, this is dope because I've
Yeah.
gotten to just dig. There are 5 albums here that are just like, god damn, this is some
Yeah.
cool shit.
That's always like a weird feeling when you like you're kind of kicking yourself for not knowing it, but there's also like a point of discovery now where you have 5 new records that you get to check out too, right? Which is cool.
Yeah. It's kind of in some. I mean, it's not the same thing at all, but in some ways, it reminds me of like of Big Star and how like not near as many people know of
Right.
that band as
Yeah.
as they should because they were
Who's
such
Big
a
Star?
big like they were
Case in
yeah
point.
yeah. That's that 70s show, the theme song.
Oh, yo, sweet.
Hanging
Okay, sorry, you
Out.
told me
That
about
was
that,
yeah,
yeah.
that's Cheap Trick covering Big Star song.
Oh,
But they had a
yeah.
bunch of huge songs. They were a really influential band
Hmm.
back in the day, but so many people don't know who they are. You
Yeah.
know, they did kind of get buried in history in that way. But
Yeah.
Fanny way more so, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, unreal band. Yeah, you go check out this album and
Oh,
go
yeah,
check out all
absolutely.
the live stuff. If you play anything, learn to play the songs. They're super fun to learn. Ain't That Peculiar, like their version of Ain't That Peculiar, even their version of Hey Bulldog, I was like, oh, this is such a great way to do this song. There are harmonies between the two sisters. They've also got that. They got that blood shit.
Yep.
There's something about like
Fucking A.
siblings
Yeah.
being in a band that
100%.
is just like, oh shit. This is another. They've been singing together since they were just children. So it's like their connection is just timeless, and it will always be just the best thing. Jean Millington has a really good quote. She's like, the joke with me and my friends, because like they kind of got some more recognition now. Like they had, there was a mention of them in F is for Family, I think. Even
That's
like,
what I was
but
gonna
that
say
total
too,
Burr
so-
move to be like,
shout
I'm
out
so
to Bill. Yeah,
such a like
Fuck yeah.
balls
Yeah.
deep into rock and roll, where he's like,
Totally.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking
it's-
know who Fanny is, dude.
It's like
Don't you know fucking Fanny? Yeah.
it's like
They open for Deep Purple.
the older brother Kevin, I think, in the show.
Yep.
He's like dating this like feminist girl, and so she takes him to a Fanny concert,
Yeah.
and he gets like really shitty. He gets like super jealous at the concert. Is like clinging on to her.
Yeah, if they
It's
do
like a
another
nice
season,
little
you'll see
moment,
the
yeah.
evolution of a lesbian character evolve here for sure. It's
Yeah,
fantastic. Just
yeah.
shitty boyfriends and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a show.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, go check it out. It's
But
go
yeah,
check it out.
yeah, everyone definitely check out Fanny if you don't know of them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Punch it in your Googler.
punch
right?
it in the Googler.
Fuck yeah. Punch
Yeah.
Jackie Agnew in your Googler. Or punch Tyler Bossnot in your Googler.
Bossnot?
I stumbled. I
Bossnot?
fucking... Boss
I know I
not.
gotta- I know I gotta-
My boss not. And Jonny DiVito can go fuck himself. Don't punch me in anything.
And
It's your birthday. You should be getting punched.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Punch me.
yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks,
Happy
baby.
birthday,
Yeah.
buddy.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Call
Yeah.
me baby.
Let's go play some
Hey.
You see the camera? Okay, folks.